So in this episode, I will walk you through the code in a general way. Okay, so I will show you how we can understand this code first. First of all, we just use the app.js only together with the CSS. So what are the things that are being loaded here? Let's see. We have loaded use effect and use state from React, and then all the loaders from the React spinners. That's all. So where do we load the index.js? We load it here. We load the app.css inside the index.js. That's why we are able to get the CSS feature there. Even we can load it in the app.js. That's not an issue. Let's cut it out and save it. And let's load here in the import. It should be okay. It should be working perfectly. You can see here. It works. Okay. So then let's look at the state variables here. We have error and set error, which we have seen in previous episodes. We have is loaded, which is causing the loader to activate when it is set true or false. And then we have items. This is for the data. And then we have queue and set queue, which is the query, that is for the search. And then we have the search parameters. So here is the place where we can remove the ambiguity. Actually, we have to delete the region from here to remove the ambiguity. It's like this. You can see here. Let's load it first. Probably I'm going to reduce the time here to maybe 2 seconds so that it'll be loading fast. And let's click 2 seconds. Yeah, it's done. So what you can see now is that filter by region is activating here, like Americas. So if you type Americas, you won't be seeing the filter in action like I showed you before, which caused a bit of ambiguity because the right side is calling for the region, where the left side is calling for the capital or the name of the city, like that. For example, let's type Cuba. You can see that the Cuba is coming up. Whereas here it is following like Europe, Asia, like that. Let's call Europe. You can see Europe is coming up. So there is a lot of countries in Europe. Isle of Man. So it's a very good feature also. You can see which countries are listed in Europe. So if I type Europe, let's say, it won't show anything because we didn't add it into the filter feature. We added into the drop down only. So filter by region, and then if we go for Europe, it will not work as well. And then it will work for example capital city. For example, let's call Washington, is it? The America's capital city, yeah. So Washington, then we can call other capital cities. Let's look at some capital cities. Guyana, Georgetown. Okay, Georgetown. So the Guyana is coming up. So you can see here there are 3 countries coming up. Why? Because there should be a word George somewhere. You can see here in Cayman Islands we got George, and then Grenada we got George, and then Guyana we got George. But if we type Georgetown, it is specific to Guyana. So that is how we can clear this by clicking the cross button. Like for example, New Delhi, right? India, we clear here. If you want to clear it, we just clear and everything is falling into place. And then as usual, everything is working. Okay, so that is how we clear the ambiguity. Then we can add in whatever is available as keys here. For example, these are the main primary keys that we are listing here. So you can add to the function, or the search parameters can improve the bandwidth if you want to add extra keys here. That's why it's given as an array. And then, okay, I made it as 2000. That means 2 seconds, the get flags. So you know how the get flags is working, right? So it is setting the data as set items. So we must remember set items, it's set already, and then we have the data here as object values from the items. So we get the data here, we initialize the data here, and after that, this is the main function, search function. Okay, let us study about the search function in another episode. So if there is an error that is coming, then we will have the error, and if it is not loaded, that means the loading has been completed, then you return all the data here. If it is not loaded, that means it is false. What is the false? It's the initial condition. Can you see here? Is loaded. So what we mean not is loaded, that means we are saying that it is a false condition, and if it's a false condition, you do the loading for me. That's what we are telling. Somewhere here we just saw, right here, yeah, on the line 68 you can see if there is an error, give me the error. Else if is loaded is false, you return the loader for me. Else means if is loaded is true, then you just give the data as a return statement with the wrapper and all the CSS in place. We will go through this particular area in our next episode. And also we will go through this option values and finally the search listing and showing the data. So there's 3 portions here. Actually there are 4 portions here. One is the explanation of function search. Second is explanation of not is loaded. Third is explanation of the else function. And finally select function and display of the data. So let's go through that in another episode. So before I conclude, I will tell you a very quick and interesting thing. Can you see a .env here? If you see the .env, you can see that there is a port 4001. So this is a very quick way you initiate any port number for the React to run. So this is given in Stack Overflow. So I just borrowed it from that. So let's say, for example, I want to run it at port 4005. Currently, you can see that it is running at port 4001, isn't it? So if I want to run it at port 4005, I will save it here and then I'm going to reload it again. Control C and I will reload it again. So you can see that the browser will load at 4005. Can you see that? This is 4005. The earlier was 4000. So this is a very quick way you can change the port numbers to anything you want in the development mode. So just open a .env in the root folder. Write nothing in that except port equal to whatever number you want, and then just close it and restart it. You will be seeing it at serving at port 4001. So let's see again. It's serving at port 4001, right? So just bring it here. Okay, the 4001. So everything is in place. We are all happy with the coding. So let's move forward to the next episode. Thank you guys for watching my video. I forgot to say, if you like my presentation, actually I'm doing very quick presentation because I want you guys directly go into the code, not just explaining CSS and typing out everything. We directly go into the code and study it. So you practice it and then you will be able to gather up a lot of knowledge. That is what I want from you guys. And then of course, who is more understanding about React or in advanced level, you can use this as a guide for global search. So experienced and non-experienced people in this group, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like it, and also do a star rating at my GitHub. I'll post the GitHub repository in the comment section. Have a nice day and bye bye.